Hello everyone and welcome back to Arma 3 mod review episode 13. Now today I've got some interesting mods for you. I've got World War II tents. Everyone loves World War II tents. Look at this mighty KV2. So for two nations, the Red Army, the Soviets, and Germany. So this mod adds a couple of things. It adds some tents, it adds some cool motorcycles that are really fast by the way, holy moly, and some AT guns and a couple of weapons. And there is also a plane, but only for one nation, only for the Soviets. We'll get into that later. But most importantly, the mods you require to run this mod are CBA A3, which I've done a video on, IFA3 AAO Light, which I've done a video on, and Cup Terrain's Core. The links for the mods that you require, this mod, and the videos of those other mods will be in the description down below. And as always, I will be using JSRS Sound Mod and Blast Core for the special effects and the noises. So, let's get into the video. First, let's take a look at Germany, and to start off with, we have these Wehrmacht Bites. Now, these things are pretty fast, and the guns are insane on them. Also, someone in my past video told me that I should probably show off the vehicles as I'm talking about them, so I'm going to be trying that in this video, so let me know what you think. Anyway guys, check out this MG42. You fire it, but then if you just press R on the keyboards, you can fire infinitely until you run out of ammo. There's no reloading animation. So yeah, pretty quirky, but interesting. Moving on, we have the BA203R. Now this is a captured Soviet vehicle. I'll talk about it more on the Soviets, but it's pretty slow, but it has armour, it has a decent cannon, and it has machine gun on the front for mowing down infantry. But don't expect the armour to take hits from tank shells, because you won't survive that. The armour's only really going to protect you from light infantry weapons, nothing heavy. Next we have the PAK-38, a 50mm anti-tank gun. Can only really take out light armour, but if you know where to shoot, you can probably damage some components on the tank. Next we have a captured T-70 Soviet light tank. Now this is exactly the same as the Soviet one, so I'll show that off in a minute. Moving on, it's the Panzer II, used at the start of World War II when Germany invaded France and Poland. This tank is very fast and comes equipped with an autocannon and a machine gun. I would mainly use the tank as an infantry support vehicle and fight infantry and lightly armoured vehicles with it. However, it does come with APDS and AP rounds for tanks, although don't expect it to be dealing with any heavily armoured vehicles. Moving on, we have the trio of Panzer III tanks. We have the short-barreled Panzer III-N, the long-barreled Panzer III-M, and the other long-barreled Panzer III-L. Now, the Panzer III-N is a short-barreled 50mm cannon, good for dealing with lightly armoured vehicles and infantry, and the other two tanks are 50mm long-barreled cannons, good for dealing with tanks and more armoured vehicles. But because it's only a 50mm cannon, you have to actually aim, know what you're hitting, so you have to take out the driver and then go for the gunner, or go for the gunner and go for the driver and then go for the engine, and it's not going to hit the tank and then completely blow it up. You need a bigger gun for that, although you might get lucky if you get the ammo. It does come with APCR for heavily armoured targets and high explosive for infantry and lightly armoured targets. But finally, we have the tank you've all been waiting for the Germans. We have the Stug. Basically, a Stug with a 105mm howitzer on the front. And this tank makes a kick-ass noise. However, the gun aside, this tank is still a Stug, and with the Arma physics engine, it does seem to get stuck on things fairly often. Still though, gun sounds pretty cool. And the reload's not even that bad as well. Now, needless to say, this gun does fire high explosive. It also can equip heat for high explosive anti-tank for dealing with tanks. That gun sounds so good. And heavily armoured tanks and all that with the heat, but you know, you'll need to aim the gun up. There's a lot of drop with this gun, so it's not very high velocity. Yeah, I'm going to say I got him. Moving on. Now moving on to the Soviets, we have some Soviet Bites and Sidecar. Now these are identical to the German ones, except these ones have DT as the machine gun, the Soviet equivalent. It's just a lot slower firing, not as good in my opinion. Next up we got two AT guns for the Soviets, a 45mm gun here and the Pulp gun, which is pretty useless as what I found of it. It's got a nice sound. There is also the fact you can push these AT guns, which I forgot to tell you about the Panzer 38. This mod includes a range of improvements to the base mod, the Arma 3 AO Light, and this is one of those changes, the fact that you can move AT guns. There is also tank changes and module changes, so like planes can get set on fire, their oil can get set on fire in the engine, the modules on the tank will be correctly displayed and when they get hit and all that. So this mod changes a ton of stuff. Anyway, this 45mm AT gun got an okay sound. I wouldn't rate it really high, but it does come with, strangely, armor-piercing discarding sabot rounds and high explosive rounds for taking out tanks and lightly armoured vehicles. But yeah, generally an okay AT gun, but 45mm not the best. Moving on, from the left to right we have the BA10 and the BA64B. Now the BA10 is the exact same as the German captured one, so it's basically just a captured version of these, so you know what that's like. But anyway, the BA64B has a very small viewing hatch when you're driving, so you probably want to leave that open until you get into combat. But yeah, kind of a spacious interior, not the most pleasant looking vehicle in the world, kind of like good mobility. It's got 2 crew, and the guy on top has a DT. Well, that's about it. I mean, it's lightly armoured. You're not going to take many hits in this. High explosives to mess you up because you'll blow your tyres off probably and injure you quite heavily. There's only the armour's only good for dealing with small arms fire basically, so don't expect it to take much damage. It's very prone to breaking down. If a German tank just looks at this thing, it will just break down. It's pretty bad. But it fulfills its role in an infantry, a lightly armoured infantry vehicle. Moving on to the one aircraft we have in this mod, it is the LA-7, a Soviet light fighter. Does not come equipped with any bombs, which I guess is a bad point against this plane since the Focke-Wulfs from the base mod get bombs. But this plane does not, it only has its cannons. What I will say about it though is it does feel pretty nice to fly. I've done some extensive testing, so I do love flying in Arma. It's one of my favourites. I normally just fly, see how close to the ground I can fly. But with this thing, yeah, it's pretty fun playing. You can do some pretty good manoeuvres with it. It's quite manoeuvrable. I wouldn't say it's that fast, but it's only a light attack craft. We'll try and get some strafing runs. Yeah, seems pretty cool. It's very manoeuvrable. The guns don't fire that fast, it would seem. You get quite a lot of ammo. You can do some strafing runs on lightly armoured targets and shoot some planes and that. But apart from that, it's not going to deal with tanks very well. You can annoy them, you can pepper them with bullets. You can't do anything major to them. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but landings are a bit quirky. I think there's a lot of bouncing involved when I try to land this thing. Guess it's more like a... Oh, that was perfect, actually. Kind of perfect. I was almost there. I'm getting there. More practice is needed, but I'm getting there on the landings. Right, moving on to tanks now. We have the T-60 here. A lightly armoured light tank, 2 crew and a autocannon. And we have the T-70 with a 45mm cannon and still 2 crew. Next to that we have the KV1, a heavily armoured beast with a 76mm gun, I believe. And next to this we have the KV2, the mighty KV2 with its 152mm cannon, which doesn't have an amazing sound, I might add. The sound for this cannon is not incredible. Not as good as the Stug for the Germans. Yeah, it needs a bit more punch. And the reload is insane. Look at the top right hand corner of the screen. Look at that reload. It takes forever. There's 2 people in the back of this turret loading this gun, this 152mm shell. Anyway, with a shaft of T60 and work my way forward through those tanks. The T60 is one of my favourite tanks in this mod. Right, you'll see in a minute. This cannon is so good. The light tank is very manoeuvrable, as you see. Not got much armour, and there's only got 2 crew, so one shell straight through the middle of the tank will kill both of them and blow it up instantly. But this is the reason why this tank is so good. This cannon is immense. You can put so many shells down range. Got a long reload though. It's coming with APDS and AP and high explosive. It's really fun. It's fast, really good cannon, really manoeuvrable, and oh, it's just so good. Moving on to the T70, this tank is more heavier, less manoeuvrable, but still pretty manoeuvrable. It's a light tank, it's got a 45mm cannon, and that's about it. It's not as fun as the auto cannon on the other one. It's not as effective as that one. I feel like I'd like that one more, but this one at least you get a cannon that can deal with more heavily armoured things, like these tanks I've got lined up down there. And it does sound pretty cool as well. Pretty loud. I don't know, does that sound better than KV2 gun, do you reckon? Right, so on to the mighty KV1. This has, well, it's the Arma physics engine is, this doesn't do this in real life. Well, I can't stop it, the brakes aren't there. Okay, right, so this has a lot of armour, it's a heavy tank. It's kind of slow, although going down hills anything's faster than armour. It's got a DT at the front, right, remember this, DT in the hull. It's got a DT in the back of the turret on the loader's seat. Which is good, that's cool. It's got a Coaxial DT on the main gun, and the main gun is a 76mm F34 with high explosive, AP, all the usual culprits. And the sight is in Russian, as you can see. And yeah, it's a pretty powerful cannon. Also gets APCR as well. Interesting. But yeah, this is a great tank, heavily armoured. It's super cool. And now, the mighty KV2 will show its strength on these unworthy adversaries. Yes, the KV2, based on the KV1 chassis, it's based so heavily armoured, but the turret is less armoured because it's basically like a self-propelled gun on a heavy tank chassis. Now, it fires high explosive, and it's pretty deadly. It's also got, you know, a DT in the front, DT in the back. There's 2 loaders. Only one loader gets the machine gun. So one loader's going to have a fun time shooting people, and the other one's just going to sit there. And it's got a Coaxial DT as well. But then we have the M10T, the 152mm cannon, which you need to aim quite high above, and I've missed. And then we have the reload of half a century, which takes forever. But yeah, this tank's really cool. It's kind of like a mighty. There's like, if you've ever played War Thunder or World Tanks, you know that you want to stay away from this thing because it will wreck you. And Arma 3 is basically the same. If you were sat in a bunker and this thing rolls up, like in our server, you want to destroy it quick or run away. Because it will mess your day up. Just put on the wait for the reload now, and hopefully take out a tank. But yeah, if you want to disable this thing, the turret, kill the loaders and the gunner. Yeah, I'm going to say I killed him. Anyway. Right, so that's Arma 3 Liberation. The mod will be in the description down below. Go download it and try it out. It's a really fun mod. Make sure you run it with all the dependencies as listed in the description down below. Hopefully the next video will be faster than this one took to make. COVID's been a pain at work, and Christmas and all that. So we'll see if we can get a video out. But like the video, subscribe and all that jazz. Oh my god, we hit 500 subs over Christmas. It was, oh no, it was New Year. It was New Year's Day we hit 500 subs, or New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve we hit 500 subs. So this year, 1,000 subs. Let's go. Let's go, boys. We can do it. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in another video in the future. Comment down below and all that. What do you want? Mods do you want to see next? I want your suggestions on mods to do. I've got some World War II mods lined up. More of this, mostly naval and aircraft. So we'll complement this as well. So I hope to see you then in the next video. Thanks for watching. I've been Zealotech, and I'll see you hopefully in a short while in the next video. Toodaloo.